what's going on? Happy day. I hope you're doing well. Sending lots of love and blessings always. Welcome to my channel. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive. And we're going to be looking at the full moon astrology. I also pulled out a few astrology decks that I really love. So I'm thinking I'll pull along with it. If you guys are down, I thought it would be a fun idea just to kind of see how it manifests. Because this full moon is pretty intense. So it is February 5th, 1:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So depending on where you're located will dictate, but tomorrow afternoon, and it's in Leo. It's like 16 degrees of Leo, which means it's basically right smack dab in the center. And the biggest aspect that's affecting this is Uranus. So Uranian energy, it's very rebellious, revolutionary. It brings in sudden change of events, things that we're not expecting. It also kind of really makes us want to be autonomous. We're individuals. We kind of fight for ourselves, fight for our rights. And there's also some tension between Venus and Mars. They're actually square aspected to each other, which just basically means it brings out the tension, right? The tension between that masculine energy of where we want things to happen in our life, the action that we take, having these certain ideas, agendas, etc., versus more of that feminine softness of really tapping into our love of doing something, right? Versus just doing it to get it done, or it makes us look good, or whatever. And so I'll get to that in a minute, but I first want to touch on that aspect to Uranus. So it is in a T-square to the sun and moon, which just basically means that all the planetary energies are kind of compounding on each other. It sets up for more tension, and again, it's almost this value of acting before you think about it. And I'm kind of laughing because I had a little bit of the instance, we can really feel that full moon energy coming into play, especially, 3 days before, 3 days after is usually the general, kind of. But I feel like sometimes I can feel them a week out, coming in, because it starts, all that energy starts building and increasing, and that can be pretty stressful, right? We come into things that happen in our day-to-day life that piss us off, and it can just trigger us like that, right? And especially with Uranus in Taurus, it's going to really deal with the things that we have in our life, what's going on in our material world. Taurus rules money, possessions, aspects of the home and family, in my opinion. It's like I said, it is that level of, very interesting. So I pulled out Gemini, and Gemini is actually at the bottom of this deck. Very interesting. So I'm hearing it's the duality, and I think we've talked a lot about this in previous astrology readings, where it's again, Mars, we can think that this is our goal, this is how we get there, and I'm going to do ABC. But that's not always how life happens, right? That's why our intuition, tapping into that feminine energy of just nurturing that sense, that sixth sense within ourselves, really helps us navigate in a more fluid way versus something that's linear, because obviously we all know life is not, right? So be really mindful about tensions that are building between you and friends, family, people that are close to you, that are in your environment. There is going to be more of that knee-jerk reaction to kind of lash out or make a choice that you normally wouldn't because of that heightened emotion. the full moon, the heightened energy, right? Yeah, there we go. There's that Uranian rebellion. I mean, it's a cool energy. It's ruled by Aquarius. We're in Aquarius season. Happy birthday, everyone, if you're celebrating, you know, but it's like I said, it's a cool energy. It's out of the box. It's being creative and, you know, kind of finding creative solutions to problems. When we tap into that side of that energy, it actually like just helps us a lot more, like not only align with ourselves and what we need to, but it also helps us, you know, kind of like avoid some of the chaos and the craziness. When we feed that energy of chaos, like kind of more the self-destructive patterns, habits, you know, when we feed that part of, you know, our psyche, that's the fear or, you know, anxiety based, then it plays out in our world, right? We're going to actually, yeah, we're going to attract that. And things are coming to head. I feel around this with that vertex point, that's our karma, right? So be really mindful about like, you know, who and what you're dealing with. I always say, especially if you're feeling like very emotional, then just like spend some extra time with yourself or people that make you feel like really safe and supported. When we kind of throw ourselves to the wolves, there's no telling what can happen. And I speak from experience, right? And that's a lot of that is just being mindful, understanding where we are at. With that Neptune and Pisces, it's really going to help with being able to recognize what that is for us, that intuitive, because it's going to feel really resistant. And Venus is in Pisces as well. So there's a lot of feelings around what's happening, and it might be really heartbreaking. If you're struggling in that way, then like I said, just take time, do some self-love, self-care, really ground into your energy. We can't control people, places, and things. We can only like control ourselves, right? We're the only, like I feel like, especially having a lot of water in my chart, I find the most helpful thing is just to be very practical about what's going on. What can I control and what can't I? And then focus on the things that you can, right? Because Saturn is in Aquarius right now as well. It's not quite it's separating, so it's not quite conjunct to the sun, but still within 10 degrees. And that really talks about how there are going to be a lot of things that are challenging us, right? That dualistic energy of how people, places, and things show up, say one thing, do another. And it's going to force us into that rebellious mode. And this is stuff that's coming to head. This is, to me, like, I like the vertex point because it's like you finally just get it out. You get it on the table. Even if it's not fun, it means that, like, you know, whatever that situation was with that person, etc., it's just kind of wiping the slate so you can start again. Yeah. To bring more harmony, to bring more balance. So, you know, there's a lot of fortune. I like this. Fortune point is in Sagittarius. Actually, this is pretty congruent with the tarot reading I just did for current energies. It really just kind of talks about that need to, you know, expand our horizons, get out of the box. You know, if you're having frustrations, things aren't moving how you want to, like, go do something new, you know, have some fun, enjoy yourself a little bit. Don't do, you know, don't do the run-of-the-mill stuff that you normally would in the day-to-day. This is going to help navigate around that Saturn energy, because a lot of what's happening to me with Saturn and the Sun in Aquarius, it's like things we don't like about ourselves coming to the surface. Challenges of seeing how we might show up, how we might get triggered, how we might let certain people or situations get the best of us. That's always a big pill to swallow, you know? But I feel like it's giving us the value that, like, if we're intentional, if we're mindful about it, that's going to help us get out of things a little bit quicker. The knee-jerk reaction with this vertex point, it is in Scorpio right now, and it's actually in conjunction with the South Node. The South Node is also like the karma that we bring into this life. So we're going to have those natural desires to kind of go to the more low vibey things. You know, try to be cognizant. Don't shame yourself if you go down that path, but really kind of try to bring yourself back out, saturate yourself with the things that just make you feel good, that make you feel like authentically good. You know, I'm not talking about like overindulging in something that might have bad consequences down the road. More just, like I said, that value of really kind of like the more you nurture yourself, the better, because it's actually going to help, again, allow you to have creative solutions for what you're dealing with. That Venus and Mars square that I was talking about, Mars is still in Gemini. Venus, like I mentioned, is in Pisces. So that's kind of going to bring out tension between relationships, specifically love relationships, close, intimate relationships, etc. So again, just another point of being conscious that if you don't want to go down a certain road with someone, you know, step away, right? Solar eclipse, things are changing. This is when our external environment changes, and we have to just embrace it for what it is. Going back to what I was talking about, like bringing that level of practicality into the emotion, even when it doesn't feel good, because this is having that ability, that determination to understand that, yeah, things are changing and I'm going to, you know, grab hold of the reins and steer my direction towards what I want, right? Okay, so the 6th house, it's being healthy, you know, that's the house of health and wellness. So again, really, really taking care of yourself is so important this full moon season. You know, maintaining that routine, just kind of the things, again, that make you feel your most empowered, that give you the energy, the strength, the courage to navigate the changes, right? We can't, that's the one constant of life, right? Life is always changing. And so the whole point of having a wellness routine or treating ourselves with love and care is so that we can navigate through the BS, because life is crazy, right? Like people, places, and things. No matter how, and there's that Pisces energy, no matter how good people are, you know, I was watching this one thing, that soft white underbelly. Have you guys seen it? It's so dope. But, you know, the girl who was being interviewed was like, you can be the best person, you know, and then do something really messed up. And that's just how life is, right? We all have our woundings. We all have our triggerings. We're all doing the best that we can. And sometimes, like, just getting out of that is not letting the emotions suck us down. But that's exactly what this is talking about. So Pisces energy really does know how to go down to the depths. So I love that. There's that the 11th house ruled by Uranus and Aquarius. So, you know, it's like the more that we fight for ourselves, this full moon, and again, not in a way out of integrity, right? Like we can have tension or difficulties with other people. I'm not saying go and like run your mouth or flip them off or whatever. I'm going to pull a few oracles too, you know, but if we just meet the situation with integrity, honest, and, you know, that's actually going to help us get to our goal more, right? Versus out of the emotion, out of wanting to say the FUs or like go down the K-hole, as I like to call it, right? Letting the emotions get the best of you, and then just choosing things that maybe you wouldn't normally, right? Being aware of those patterns, because some of them are going to come out. There's a natural order to everything. I love this. It's just remembering that even if you've set certain goals or manifestations in place, there still is that natural order to get there, you know? And that means that we have to go through a series of things in order to, you know, get to that, get to that manifestation, that shower of abundance. It's coming. It's here. And I feel like you're tapping more into that is what this reading is saying. Yeah, that magic wand. But in order to do that, we do kind of have to work with the energies in an intelligent way. That's why I love astrology, reading, any type of divination, because it gives us that window into what we might not see on that physical level. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this full moon reading. I'm sending so much love and blessings your way. I hope it's fabulous despite some of the tension. I feel like you can steer clear of it. I feel like you're cognizant enough, you're aware enough. Sometimes we just have to step out of a situation in order to obviously avoid something that like we don't want it to go to a certain place. So I hope that this helped, and thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the love and the support. Drop comments below. I would love to build and grow the community. All right, guys, lots of love and blessings. Thank you.